Yo, what is really good, my dudes? Welcome to another RuneScape news coverage video. For this video, they did a live stream today about Solak, so we're going to go into depth and have a close look at exactly what we can expect when this goes live next week. So without any further ado, let's jump right into the video. Let's go!
Cats is the illest. What you talking about, Willis?
Alright guys, before we get started, this will be released on next Tuesday, that is May 29th. Now, Monday is a bank holiday in the UK, so that's why they're not doing the update on Monday, but instead Tuesday the 29th, so I just want to make that clear. Anyways, with Solak, there's going to be two new modes. If you did not know, there's both a group mode and a duo mode. Now, both modes actually function pretty much identical in terms of the mechanics. However, there are some small bits and tweaks here and there, specifically with the duration of certain attacks or the duration of certain mechanics. So that means that obviously certain things will last for much longer if you are in the group mode rather than the duo mode to compensate for the amount of people in each mode. That does mean that since they're both mechanically the same in most ways, there is a much larger burden on anybody who happens to be doing duo mode because it's obviously only just two people having to deal with the same mechanics that 7 would previously have. But not impossible, just a little more difficult. Keep that in mind. However, drop tables will be the same regardless of which mode you happen to choose. Just to clear something up with the group mode, you can bring any number of players to group mode up until 7, which is the hard cap. So any number between 1 and 7 people can join, no more than 7, however. So just make sure you keep that in your mind. In terms of requirements, there are no requirements to actually do the boss whatsoever. Anybody can go. However, you're going to be on your toes. You're going to be reacting to a lot of different mechanics, and a good knowledge of the combat system is going to be pretty much vital for this boss fight. Killing Solak is required for the Reaper title. Just as a heads up, it's given as a Reaper assignment from death, and when he assigns it to you, you have to kill between 2 to 5 Solak, and you're awarded around 27 Reaper points for that particular task. Since it is required for the Reaper title, that means it is required for the Comp Cape, so anybody who has Comp Cape on release will lose it until they get their Solak kill. There is no Master Quest Cape requirements, however, if you're curious. All current lore is tied to the stone in the Lost Grove, so if you want to know about the Lost Grove, just go over to that stone, interact with it, and you'll get a lot of information there. And there will be much more lore tied with talking to Marithel, which is the new elf, who will help you alongside the fight, so go talk to her on release if you're interested in the lore. She will give you much more insights into Solak there. In terms of the boss fight itself, JMods do not expect anyone to get the first kill until at least 6 hours in from launch, according to mod Shauny, and mod Ramen doesn't think anyone will get the kill on the day of release. However, he does preface this by saying that after daily reset, people might get the kill. He wasn't talking about a 24-hour period after the launch, just the actual day of launch. So we'll see how this goes. Either way, top tier players can do some amazing stuff, so who knows where or how long it's going to take anybody to finally get that first kill. Now, Mod Ramen does expect the kill to take around 10 to 15 minutes for the first few times, and obviously players will get much better at it, and we could see those times be reduced maybe significantly when top tier players finally get the inner workings of how to do this boss. Now, in terms of when you're fighting the boss, you can use the following. You can use your vulnerabilities, entangle, and Solak is able to be poisoned, so you do want to make use of your weapon poisons, as well as potentially your Cinderbane, etc., to try to maximize your damage output when fighting Solak. That being said, we're going to move on to the reward system. Now, if you don't know, the Tier 92 dual-wield crossbows, the Blightbound crossbows, will be coming with Solak, so that is your main juicy drop that you want to be looking for. These crossbows will be augmentable, and all dyed versions will be available on release. They will be using the new Blight Bolts, which are dropped by the Lost Grove creatures. Those are already in-game, so you can stock up on those ammo right now. Solak will not drop blight bolts, so you'll have to be getting those from the creatures. Of course, you can use the recently updated but criminal bolts. They will act as tier 92 ammo. When I say that, I specifically mean the enchanted gem tipped versions, not the base but criminal bolts, just to be 100% clear. I mean, you could use the base but criminal bolts, but I don't know why you would. They're not very strong at all. I'm just saying that the enchanted gem tip ones are the only ones that will act as tier 92. I know to a lot of you that's probably extremely obvious, but I just want to make sure I'm touching all bases here. If you happen to be curious, he does mention that the crossbows themselves won't disassemble to anything particularly useful. Mod Ramen does say that they will probably give fungal components, so that means I can't imagine any good reason why anybody would disassemble their blight-bound crossbow. Doesn't really give anything of good use, or anything that you can't get outside elsewhere from other things. Moving on, there is a new boss pet. It is a miniature Solak named Soli. Pretty standard. We've seen this with many different bosses, so nothing really new here. However, we do know the drop rate. It is a 1 in 1,200 chance to get the boss pets with a 500 kill threshold. So obviously every 500 Solak kills, that is greatly reduced, the drop rate that is. In terms of the loot system, it's kind of a new loot system that Mod Ramen is excited about the most, he says, on the stream. So basically, when you do damage to Solak, you are logged in to what they're calling a hero journal. Any name that is logged into that hero journal is owed loot for a successful kill. This means if you die during the fights, but your team is able to finish off the kill, then you could still get your loot, similar to the system currently we see in raids. However, you must remain logged in and on the same world as the kill, or you will forfeit your loot. That is the differential between Solak and the raids looting mechanic. So if you happen to die, do not log out, let your team finish off the kill, and you will be awarded loot. Now there are both primary and secondary drop tables with this boss that you'll roll for both. The primary table will have the crossbows themselves and whatever else they have on his drop table. Mod Ramen only mentioned the other thing was Quarms. I don't know why Quarms, but that is your primary loot table. Now, the secondary loot table will include things like effigies, Triskelion pieces, clue scrolls, and there are two uniques that they haven't revealed yet, which are not the crossbows on the secondary loot table. So that is interesting. I guess we'll learn more on next Tuesday. There is a boss drop log with this update, just so you know, and collecting everything on the log will unlock the new Guardian of the Grove title. This title is a suffix, meaning that it will follow your screen name as opposed to coming before it. And that is pretty much all I have gathered from the new recent live stream about Solak. We will see it, like I said, coming next Tuesday. That is May 29th, so get prepared. It will be the toughest boss fight we've seen to date, and they don't even expect people to kill it within the first 6 hours at least. Bear in mind that Yakamaru took 10 hours on release for somebody to finally get to kill, and they do say it's much harder than Yakamaru. Even when people get it down, they can't really sell leeches to people like how they have with Yakamaru, where you can just stand in the corner and stay within combat. Even learners you're going to be taking on this fight are gonna have to be able to react to some of the mechanics in this boss fight, and if they don't, it's to the detriment of the entire team. So, not going to be one of those things where players can leech to get kills. Everybody's going to have to take part in it, which is exciting, but it also could be very frustrating if people on your teammate aren't giving it their 100%. Anyways, that's pretty much it. I will sign off there. Let me know what you guys think about the Solak boss. I'm still really hyped for it. Can't wait next Tuesday. This is just right around the corner. But do give me your thoughts on anything we discussed in this video. Are you going to be trying to kill it on launch? Are you going to wait for people to see how it's able to be killed and then make your attempts afterwards? I'd love to hear your thoughts. That is it for the video. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed yet and you want to stay up to date on all things RuneScape related, then hit that subscribe button. Anyways, I appreciate you watching. I am out. Peace.